Ready to go out? Welcome. It is Thursday, October the 10th, 2024. Today I decided to do something a little bit different. I'm often asked, why don't I show my dog more in my videos? So I thought I would do one better. I'll do an entire video about my dog Rambo. So join me if you will. Will you? Rambo really loves these snacks. I only can find them at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, places like that. Of course, I can order them off of Amazon. And away he goes. So to jump back a little bit, my very first dog was Gypsy. She was a fox terrier, and she was mainly an outside dog. At the time, my sister, she had asthma really bad and couldn't be around animals, pets. And my mom at the time didn't want me having any dogs in the house. So I had to keep her outside for the most part. And I had Gypsy for about 14 years before she passed. And after she passed away, I didn't want to get another dog for a very long time because it made me feel guilty. I just felt like getting another dog right away. It just didn't feel right. So it was like a very long time before I got another dog. And then after many years, my next dog was a Vizsla, which I named Copper. I had a pillow made of her. And one of my coworkers did this awesome painting of Copper. It turned out really good. So I was really close to Copper. Now Copper I got from a coworker. Her family raised Vizslas. And they had a boy and a girl. So I got the girl, which I named Copper. So I had Copper for about 8.5 years before she got sick. And she just suddenly declined after that. But at the time, I had Copper. I was surprised. My mom wasn't really a big pet person or a dog person. She didn't hate dogs or anything like that. She just never was around them or, touched them or petted them or got close to them. So when I had Copper in the house, after some time, they became very close. Copper would always sleep with me. And then at some point in time, she just started sleeping with my mom. And I was very surprised because for my mom not to, really be a big dog person and letting Copper sleep in bed with her. I mean, my mom would turn off the lights before she went to bed, walk around the house, check on things, like make sure the refrigerator door was closed all the way or the oven was off, things like that. And she would walk around the house with her little flashlight. And she'd get to my bedroom door, which was open, and Copper would be on the bed with me, and she kind of flick her wrist, like to come on, and Copper would hop off the bed, and they would walk side by side together to her bedroom. And one time I kind of snuck and followed behind them, and I watched them around the corner. My mom would get in bed, and Copper would just sit there at the on the floor there at the edge of the bed, wait for my mom to get in bed, and she'd get under the covers, and then Copper would hop up in and kind of sniff on my mom a little bit, and my mom would say, "Go lay down," and she'd find her little spot on the bed and lay down next to her. So I thought that was a really, really cute thing. But yeah, then all of a sudden, Copper started getting like really, really thirsty and drinking a lot of water, and then she would throw it up, and she kept doing that, and took her to the vet. Ended up having to take her to a bigger hospital for pets, and dropped her off, and went back that evening to visit with her and check on her and see what the doctor had to say. And they told us they could operate, but there was no guarantees that it would work, and they advised me not taking her home. So they brought her in the room for me to see her, and I mean, I didn't know that night I was going to be saying goodbye to her, but when they brought her in, she was breathing really heavily. She was out of it. I could tell she was suffering, and it made that decision to let her go a little bit easier because of that. Because if they would have brought her in the room and she was, wagging her tail and, licking me and all those things, it would have been very, very difficult for me to let her go. But seeing the state that she was in, I knew I had to let her go. I didn't want to see her suffer. So after Copper passed, and anyone who's had pets that have passed on will really know this feeling, but when you come home and they're no longer there, I tell you that that silence is very, very loud, if you know what I mean. So it was really sad. It was really quiet at home. You go to work or go somewhere and come back, and you're expecting to see your dog, and they're not there anymore. It was really, really tough. So I didn't really want to get another dog again because I just felt guilty. I was getting that guilty feeling again, like I can't get another dog right away this soon. But there was a coworker at work, and they asked me, "Are you going to get another dog?" And I said, "Well, I want to, but I just can't right now." And they said, "Why not?" And I said, "Well, I feel guilty." And they said, "Well, think of it this way. You're getting another dog to love. No other dog can replace Copper. You're not getting a dog to replace Copper. You're getting another dog to love." So once I put it in that perspective, I started doing my search, went online and started looking for dogs. Mainly I was looking for another Vizsla. Then I found out my local PetSmart was having an adoption day. So I went there with my mom. And one of the first dogs that I saw in the crate was this guy right here. And at the time, his name was Demario. So, I went up to his cage, and he was laying in there, looked nervous, looked scared. But he kind of looked the same color like Copper, so it kind of reminded me of Copper a little bit. And I went around and looked at the other dogs. And I was thinking about getting like a little puppy at the time. And some other guy beat me to it. There was a puppy there, and he was already filling out the application for it. So I made my way back, and then I came back to Demario's cage, and got close to it and was talking to him, and he was kind of growled at me, and asked my mom, "What about this one?" And she kind of had a look on her face like, I don't know. And she asked me, "I thought you wanted a bigger dog." And I think she wanted me to get a bigger dog like Copper, because maybe it made her feel safe. I don't know. So we didn't end up getting him that day. We left and we went to go eat. And while we were eating, she goes, "Do you really want that dog?" And I said, "Well, yeah, he's smaller. It should be easier to take care of." And she said, "Well, let's go get him." But at that time, it was almost 4 o'clock, and they were supposed to close at 4 o'clock or stop having the adoption thing at 4 o'clock. So I had to go online, find that agency, and I found Demario, and I put in my application. And there was also another dog that I saw that I put an application in for as well. And after a little bit of time, I got the email that he was available and ready for me to come pick up if I wanted him. And the night before, I got an email that the other dog was available. And then I was like, "Well, which dog do I want to get?" And I said, "You know what? I'm sticking with this one because He was the first one I saw, and he was the first one I got notification back on. So on a Friday, November the 15th, me and my mom went to this vet place that was close to Hobby Airport. This, I guess the lady from the agency was keeping this dog at her house, and she would bring him to work with her at the vet, keep him, locked up during the day. So I went there, and she brought him out in the waiting room, and I got to hold him, but he was like really stiff, he's like really scared, like what was going on. So she started holding him again, and she was telling me what kind of dog food he likes, the kind of dog food they give him. And at one point, I kind of moved my arm, and he flinched, and she said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, we think he was abused by a man." I was like, "Oh, really?" She goes, "Yeah, so, try not to have any sudden movements or anything like that." So, I kept that in mind. And then as we left, she took Demario, which I renamed him Rambo. She took Rambo out in the grass to let him, relieve himself. And then she put him in the crate that I had in my back seat of my car. And on the ride home, he was just chilling, just laying there. And I had some snacks for him. And when we got home, I went to the back seat to grab the handle of the cage. And he about tried to chew my hand off. He wasn't having it. So I sat down next to the cage, and I kind of talked to him, and I was like real nice and soft-spoken. And then eventually I grabbed the handle slowly and brought him in the house, put him in my bedroom, and opened the door of the crate, and he just sat there. He wouldn't come out. And a niece of mine knew I was getting the dog, and she called me. She said, "Can I come over after work and see Rambo?" And I said, "Sure." She comes over, goes to the cage, starts talking to him, and he walks right out and follows her around the house. And I'm like, what the heck? And then he'd go around my mom and hang around my mom, but he would not let me get near him. I could not touch him. I could not pet him. He would bark at me. I was like, oh, great. I wanted this other dog because I had Copper, and Copper would sleep with me and cuddle with me on the couch and things like that. And I was looking for that. And now this dog didn't want to have anything to do with me. I was like, oh, great. He doesn't like men. He likes women. Can you blame him? So I had to leave his leash on him. It was like a small, light leash. But I had to keep it around his neck because he would not let me get near him. So I would, grab the leash and take him outside, let him, do his business. And I was just real gentle with him and made sure not to do, any certain sudden movements or anything like that. And I was just real gentle with him. Take him outside. He was fine. Bring him in, but, again, he didn't want anything to do with me. He would sleep in his crate in my bedroom. I would leave the crate door open. And after about a week and a day, I took him outside, and he was like chilling in the grass. The sun was out. I guess he was enjoying the warm sun. And I kind of knelt down, and I was talking to him, and he turns over on his back, and he's inviting me to rub his belly. So I started, scratching his belly, and, he enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, great, I'm making progress. Then we get back in the house. He didn't want anything to do with me again. I'm like, what the heck? So it was a little bit of that for a while. Then eventually he stopped sleeping in the crate, and he started sleeping in this big chair that I had at the foot of my bed. So I was like, okay, we're making some progress. And then before long, he was trying to hop up in my bed. And after that, it was over with. He was always by my side, always chilling with me. Always wants to sleep with me when I'm on the couch watching TV. Always wants to cuddle with me. So, it took about a week and a day before he really opened up to me. But yeah, he's a really great dog. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Rambo. And he kind of talks or sings in a way, which I found out if I say a certain thing to him. If I tell him I love him, he'll start howling. Rambo, I love you. 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 Yeah. You a good boy? You a good boy? So whenever I had Copper, which was a Vizsla, my mom would always buy me a Vizsla calendar for Christmas for the year. And then when I got Rambo, she started buying me these calendars of Chihuahuas. So my mom has passed on, unfortunately, but I keep the tradition alive. Every year I'll get a new Chihuahua calendar. But yeah, my mom was really close with Rambo as well. I think she was a lot closer with Copper. But yeah, I lost Copper in September of 2019. And November 15th is when I went to pick up Rambo. And I was so heartbroken over losing Copper that I remember when I first got Rambo, I was like, I don't know, you got some big shoes to fill. I don't know if I could love you as much as I loved Copper. And I just feel ashamed for thinking that at the time because I don't know what I would do without Rambo. So I lost my mom a couple of years ago and, had some big life changes happen to me and moved into a place by myself. Well, not all by myself. I got Rambo with me, but like I said, I don't know what I would do without Rambo. It makes a huge difference having a dog or a pet. Coming home from work every day or coming back from somewhere and, this little dude's just happy to see me all the time. It's such a great feeling. So yeah, I don't know what I would do without him. He is such a great dog and I'm so glad I got him. And as I head to work, Rambo will just chill on the couch all day or he'll go in his crate in my bedroom. I do have that Echo Show pointing towards my couch so I can drop in during the day and check on him and see how he's doing. And if I don't see him on the couch, he's usually in his crate in my bedroom. I have a camera in there pointing towards the crate so I can always check on him and see what he's doing. But I've been very fortunate to have some really good dogs. With Copper and Rambo, I could leave the house and they would never get into anything. They'd have full access to the house. I would never lock them up. And I could go shopping, go to the movies, whatever, come back, and nothing in the house would be messed up. The only thing with Copper is if I left my shirt or socks out somewhere, I might find my shirt or socks on the floor. But I think she was just, sniffing it to get my scent off of it. But other than that, Copper and Rambo would never mess up anything in the house. You could trust them. They would just chill on the couch or on a chair and never had to worry about them getting into anything. Now, one thing that I do is I leave one of Rambo's snacks out on the couch with him, and he won't touch it all day long. And as soon as I get home from work and I come in, either he'll be chilling on the couch or he'll be in his crate, and as soon as he hears me, he'll come running to the couch. But as soon as I get home, that's when he'll grab that snack and start eating it. For some reason, he won't touch it all day long until I get home, and then he'll start eating it. So I'll show you when I get off of work. Another day, another dollar. And before I head home, I was dropping in to see where Rambo was, and I could see him. He's on the couch. Gotta love rush hour traffic. So I left that treat on the couch, and like I said, Rambo won't touch it all day long until I walk into the apartment. Then he'll grab it. So watch when I open the door, he'll get up, grab his treat, start eating it. Hey, Rambo. Alexa, I'm home. Where's your treat? There it is. You gonna share? You gonna share your treat? No? You're not gonna share? Okay. You don't have to share. My favorite part of the day. I remember when you wouldn't let me touch you at all. You wouldn't come near me. Now look at you. You good boy? 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 Oh yeah? Really? You a good boy? You good boy? Okay. 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 I get it. You don't say. And when it's time for bed, Rambo, you ready for bed? Ready for bed? I gotta lift you up. And he likes to eat his little treat before bedtime. So he'll sit at the end of the bed all by himself until he's ready to go to sleep. Ready to go to sleep? Ready to go to sleep? Ready to lay down? And this is my rescue dog, Rambo, who rescued me, right, buddy? As always, thank you for watching. Be safe, be kind, and stay caffeinated. Good night, Rambo.